Rapidly putting their coat on, and there we have Michelle Obama and Laura Bush. The next First Lady of America, there on the left and on the right, Laura Bush. Will be leaving the White House a little bit later. It must be sad to go after all those years. Many of the staff say they become quite friendly with the President and the First Lady, and it is sad to see a family leave. There we have the First Lady-to-be and the former First Lady. And we're at the Capitol. We can see John McCain's wife standing by, Cindy McCain. Of course, John McCain, who lost the election to the President-elect, Barack Obama, a very long and hard-fought campaign. But there we have Cindy McCain at the Capitol, sort of a nice symbol in a way on this day, that she can be here along with all the others there to celebrate Barack Obama. And then I think that's John McCain there, just behind that gentleman at the front. There he is. Erica, a rather lovely image, John McCain there to celebrate his rivals.
There's Dick Cheney in a wheelchair.
There he is. Dick Cheney, who had him. I'd just say, Erica, Dick Cheney, who put his back out just recently, which is why he's currently in a wheelchair. But there he is again. Yes, as I was saying, John McCain, it's rather nice to see him there with his wife, Cindy, there to celebrate the President-elect.
That's the American democracy. It's all about celebrating together. Once you've lost, you realize you've lost, and you just follow up, And
let's see if we can see. I'm just trying to see if we can discern any more people in that crowd. Of course, everyone is on their way to the Capitol. That's where the swearing-in ceremonies will take place. There's Joe Lieberman. I think you can see him there in the orange scarf, just on the right of your screen. This really is the who's who of American politics, isn't it? We can see here, as they all make their way to the Capitol, leaving the White House on the left of your screen and arriving at the Capitol on the right of your screen, which, as I was saying before, is where those swearing-in ceremonies are going to be taking place very shortly, and, of course, where the President-elect Barack Obama, who will be present by that time, will give his inaugural address.
May I say something? May I say that it'll be curious to see what happens to Joe Lieberman, because a lot of Democrats were upset at him because he campaigned for John McCain, of course. He crossed over to campaign for McCain because he agreed with his foreign policy more than with Obama's foreign policy. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets snubbed during the next 4 years, or if he loses any of his positions in the as a senator from.
And I'm just going to stop you there, Eric Svan, because there he is, Barack Obama and George W. Bush. Listen to those cheers. A rock star sending off there. One's awfully curious to think about what they might have been speaking about all that time whilst they had coffee. It would be lovely to be a fly on the wall. And there, as the President-elect Barack Obama and George Bush head off to the Capitol, you can see on the right of your screen the people gathering there, being seated. Colin Powell among them. I don't know if we can see him again, but he was there. One of many dignitaries, many politicians and celebrities, Hollywood stars, showbiz stars. That could even be Oprah Winfrey there in the middle, I think, in a caramel coat. That does look like Oprah Winfrey, who's been, of course, a big fan, a big supporter of Barack Obama during this campaign. There we have him, Colin Powell, once again, just walked off to the right of your screen. a Republican, Colin Powell, of course, he served under President Bush, and then came out in support of Barack Obama whilst Barack Obama was campaigning.
Hey, well, good to see you. Come on, meet you down here.
So just to explain, if you just joined us, on the left of your screen you're seeing the President-elect Barack Obama heading to the Capitol with the current President, George W. Bush, because he will be the President until midday American time, heading to the Capitol for the swearing-in ceremonies. And there on the right, the Capitol, gleaming in white under the blue sky of Washington. It's a cold day, but the weather is rather lovely.
One line down.
Rob Parsons joining us, overlooking this scene. Rob, the President-elect and George W. Bush are on their way to the Capitol. We can hear cheers there. Can you hear the crowds behind you?
I can. I can hear the band most of all, but every now and then there's a surge of sound from the crowd as the excitement builds. Obviously now that they know that Barack Obama is on his way to the Capitol, the excitement will be getting even more intense. When they see the pictures of him arriving in the Capitol, I imagine the noise will break all the barriers. But it really is a stupendous sight looking behind me across the National Mall, which is absolutely jammed-packed with people. People were saying before it all started today that they're expecting record attendance. There's no question, I would say, that they've topped 2 million people today. It's a huge, huge crowd which stretches as far as the eye can see. And they're absolutely jammed together like sardines. But the mood, which is wonderful, is of great good humour and excitement.
All right, Rob, and there you can see those live pictures of the motorcade as it makes its way to the Capitol. And the cheers as that car passes by the many people who've come out to see America's next President, Barack Obama. So much excitement there. Stephen, when you see those pictures as an American living abroad, what does it make you feel?
It gives a sense, there is to some extent a feeling to see people enthusiastic about politics, about American politics in general. We have been faced with decades of declining participation, higher and higher rates of abstention. We're talking more and more in political science circles about a crisis of democracy. I'm not sure that one election is enough to turn that around, but it is certainly heartening to see that that sort of enthusiasm for a politician. There is, of course, the flip side, which is the kind of superstar status that he has taken is obviously something that some people are also somewhat concerned about, not wanting necessarily to have a president who is closer to presented more like a rock star than presented as a politician. In all honesty, I'm less concerned about that. I think once it's time to get down to business, it'll be there won't be much. The rock star status is quickly going to dissipate.
Eric, as we see that motorcade heading towards the Capitol, are you worried that Barack Obama could be style over substance?
Well, you know that Martin Luther King said, I have a dream that my 4 children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And we have to admit that a lot of Obama's victory and a lot of the excitement is about the color of his skin, which Martin Luther King wanted to go beyond, you know. And if the whole world thinks only about his race and not about the content of his character, which we don't know much about, you know, from 4 years in the Senate.
In fairness, though, it's not just the fact that he's an African American. He also motivated and created a massive grassroots campaign. He talked about change and some of the things he wanted to do. It's also those things, isn't it? It's not just about him being an African American, even though that is, of course, a huge thing today.
Well, yes, but again, if I may go back to Jimmy Carter, that is what Jimmy Carter promised after Watergate, everything will get better. We'll be lovey-lovey with the world. We'll be try to speak to everybody. No more wars. No more attacks attacks with Russia. No more, And the world, you have to live in a real world. So the real world is not the fairy tales where you just think about all these charming princes coming to change the world. It doesn't work that way. There are, like George Bush said, I hate to quote him, but there is evil in the world, and it doesn't always come from American conservatives and neocons. In fact, it comes less from them than from places like Saddam's Iraq and Iran and Putin's Russia. That's in my experience.